All right, hello. This is Stephen Green, and I am here to show you my recommended workflow for photography, getting your files from your SD card totally raw, organized, edited, exported, and hopefully in a very efficient way, but obviously a very organized way as well. This is not going to cover the ins and outs of editing in Lightroom. This is mostly just the workflow, my recommended efficient and organized way to get things done. So you can see on my screen here I've got Adobe Bridge pulled up, and this is where a lot of magic is going to happen, especially before we edit. The first step, of course, would be to plug in your SD card or memory card, whatever you shot your photos on that day, and make sure it shows up in the list. But before I even look at my photos, I want to create a folder to store those photos in, either on my computer or my external storage drive if you have an SSD or a thumb drive or something. You know, a good backup device is something I highly recommend. You wouldn't want to just always store all your pictures on your SD card constantly. I think that's a bad idea. They get corrupted, they get erased. It's not what you want to really risk yourself doing. So on my Adobe Bridge screen, I'm going to go to my desktop. That's where I'm going to store these pictures today for this demo, but you would want to choose whatever storage device you are going to use for this kind of thing. I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder, and I'm going to title it the same name as the event or the photo shoot that I just finished shooting. For me, it's an in-class demo. So I'm going to type in class demo on this new folder of mine, and now I can go find my photos. Now that I went back to my SD card, go into my DCIM folder, wherever you maybe find your stuff, and I'm going to go to 100 Canon. I'm going to scroll down. I found this SD card in my office, and it's got several photo shoots, some kind of senior portrait kind of stuff going on, and I'm going to go all the way past all of that to my most recent photos that I took, which is from in class in my photo 1 class the other day, and there are about 11 here. You may have shot 500 photos or 5,000 photos or 5 photos at your event. Either way, we're going to go find the pictures that we are most concerned about, my most recent things, and we want to select those files. So all 11 of these I'm going to select. I'm going to click the first one, hold shift, click the last one. They're all highlighted in blue here. And before I do anything to edit these photos, I want to put them on my storage drive, and I want to rename them just so I can keep myself organized and know exactly what these files were from, because the name IMG6980 is not going to tell me any information at all about when and where and what I'm looking at. So once I've got my photos selected, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to find the option in Bridge here called Batch Rename. And when I click it, you're going to see several options for renaming. And you can kind of build this out the way that you would like to. I like the kind of preset that I've kind of put here. It's got my last name and my first name as the first text field. It's got the event name or the photo shoot name, so that would be in class demo. I've got the date I created these files, the date I shot them, and also a sequence number so I can keep track of, I liked number 5 and I also liked number 37, and they'll have a number label on them as well. So you can build this new file name scheme the way you'd like to. I've got a companion document that has this stuff listed on there. Either way, I think you should put your event name and your name and a sequence number for sure on every file you do this to. The last thing here is we need to choose a destination folder. Where are these pictures going to be copied to? And that's the folder that I created just a minute ago on my desktop called in-class demo. You would choose whatever that folder is for you. So I'm going to click Browse. I'm going to navigate to my desktop, find that folder, and then I'll choose that. Once you've situated all of this the way it needs to be and you think you're ready, you can go ahead and click the rename button. Bridge will give you a little progress bar, and once that progress bar has finished, you should be able to go find those pictures in the folder you told them to go to. They all are now magically renamed. So now you can see I've got my name, my event name, the date, and a number for all 11 of these, and that is really nice and organized in the folder that I wanted them to be in. So now in Bridge, we can stop looking at our pictures on the SD card. We have no more use for them at this time. You could, of course, delete them, but I don't think now is the right time to do that. Next time you go out on a photo shoot, maybe format your card, assuming you know for a fact these got copied to your computer or your storage drive. So I'm going to go back to my computer, go find my desktop, find my new folder, and find the new fresh out the oven, renamed version of all of these files. Now I can start doing some work to sort and kind of decide which of these pictures do I want to actually edit. Not all of these were maybe worthwhile. Maybe you shot 500 pictures and you're only going to turn in 5. That's great. It's time to make those decisions. So what I like to do in Bridge is to select the first picture in my folder, and I like to look at them in full screen, because if we're looking at the small versions, we don't know if they're in focus necessarily. We can't see all the details. So I'm going to hit spacebar, and once I do that, it will pull up a full screen version of this picture. I'm sure everyone that's in this photo loves me right now, the fact that this is the picture I'm showing everybody. But I don't think I'm going to edit this one. This doesn't seem like it was very intentional. It was kind of random snap off of my camera. I don't think I'm going to use it, so I'm not even going to bother. I'm going to use my arrow keys to move on and find some other pictures I do care about. So this is a picture of Castellaw 245. Let's say I want this picture and I want to edit it in Lightroom. I'm going to put a star rating on any picture I like. And to do that, in my full screen view, I can just push a number on my keyboard, 1 through 5. You can see on the bottom left, I've pushed number 1, and it shows a star. And that star is going to be there. I can also go 3 stars or 5 stars. Whatever number on my keyboard I push, it's going to have that many stars. Great. So I would continue through my folder. I would find any other pictures I care to edit. These look like decent photos. I'm going to maybe put a star on both of those. And this one seems like it's junk, but maybe this last one is usable. So I'll hit a star on all of the ones that I like. And when I hit escape, you can see that several of my photos do have a star rating. There's 4 of them. And those are the only photos that I care to actually import and edit in Lightroom. So what I'm going to do on my filter tab in Bridge over here on the bottom left, you can find filter, and I can tell Bridge to only show me the photos I have a star rating on. So if I click the little checkbox next to the stars, now it's only showing me those 4 pictures, and that's going to be a nice way to only grab the ones that I like. If you've messed with Adobe Lightroom Classic before, then you're probably familiar with the import screen. So if I'm in Lightroom here, and I click on import on the bottom left of my library tab, then it's going to bring up a very kind of slow and messy way to browse your files, in my opinion. So this is my SD card, and I could also navigate to my desktop, but on the left side here, it's a little bit painful to try to go dig through, oh, where is my actual user account and my desktop? And you got to kind of know what you're looking for. But even so, if this is all of my new renamed files, it's got all of them selected. They're all checked right now. And if I uncheck them all, I still have to manually go through and select the 4 pictures that I thought I liked, and you notice that I'm not actually seeing those star ratings show up in this import screen, and it's a little bit tedious to try to go and select all the same stuff again. So I'm not going to use that. I recommend that you don't necessarily use this screen the way that Lightroom kind of encourages you to. There's a much better way. So I'm going to go back to my Bridge screen. I've got all my sorted, stuff filtered out, only looking at my starred photos. These are the 4 I care about. I'm going to select all 4 of them. I could also push Control A, Command A, or whatever on my keyboard, and they're all highlighted. And once they're highlighted, I'm going to click and drag one of them over to my Lightroom Classic screen. And as soon as it pops up, I'm going to put my mouse in the center of it and let go. And this is going to bring my import screen up again, but it will automatically take me to the location of the files I dragged in, and it's going to select the stuff that I had selected. So I don't have to go hunt for anything again. It's already done. This is wonderful. This is fast. This is efficient. I highly recommend this as being your method. And the last thing before we actually click import is on the top right of our screen in this import window, we have this option called file handling. I recommend that in your Lightroom catalog you create a collection, and that's this little button here that says add to collection, and hit the little plus sign, create a folder for each event or photo shoot that you do. You can see I've already actually made this one called in-class demo. I'm going to select it and make sure that these photos get imported into that collection, and that'll help me stay organized within Lightroom later on. So if I'm going to do that, I'll click import, and after just a couple moments, all my pictures now have arrived in my Lightroom catalog. On the left, I have this collections area where I can click on in-class demo, and that's where they are. If I had other collections like some baby pictures or, other events that I've shot, that would be a really nice way to get to them quickly. So I've got my in-class demo collection. Here's the 4 pictures I want to edit. And let's say that we edit these pictures. I'm going to make them as ugly as possible for the sake of this demonstration because that sounds fun. Why not? This is not something I would recommend you do. This looks horrible. And let's say that, oh man, that looks great. All right, I do this for all 4 of my pictures, and we are going to say, hooray. Oh, that's terrifying, actually. Let's just hit auto for this. Ooh, it's all right, great. We're going to go with that. This one will make a little bit more normal, perhaps. Ish. And then our last one, let's say we want it to be really colorful and stylish. Like, there we go. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, so there's a really quick editing. Like, let's say that, all of these are done. We're back in our library tab, and I'm going to select all 4 of these edited photos. They're wonderful, they're beautiful, but they don't exist as a file yet, so we have to export them. So I'm going to select all of them. I'm going to use my Control-A, Command-A, and make sure they're all highlighted. And then I'm going to find my export button, bottom left of my screen, and then I have some decisions to make. There's a companion document with this video that has some recommended settings, but going through them very quickly, this export location is extremely important, this first option here. I recommend that you use the same folder as the original photos, wherever you imported them from, and then create a subfolder and call it edits or something very similar to that. That way you only have to go to one place to find photos from your event or your photo shoot, and you'll very easily be able to find the edited pictures that were already processed and done. So file naming, we've already renamed these files when we copied them over, so I don't actually need to do any renaming since I did that step, but you have the opportunity in Lightroom to do that on export. File settings, I recommend we do JPEG and always have your quality up all the way to 100. You might as well. Why throw away some quality if you don't have to. Image sizing, this will depend on your use case for that set of photos. Maybe you need to shrink them down to put them on a website that has file size limitations. Maybe your publisher or your editor, someone you're giving these to, needs it a certain size. That would be a good time to do that. Or whatever your teacher asks for. That's up to you as you need it. Output sharpening, it's not a terrible idea to sharpen these for the screen since that's usually where we look at them. You could do this for printing on matte or glossy paper, but screen is our most common thing. It's not a terrible idea. Don't touch your metadata, leave that there. If we wanted to watermark our photos, we could. And then this last thing, I actually really like to choose Show in Finder or Show in Explorer after export, because it is telling Lightroom that you would like it to prove to you that it exported everything you asked it to when it's all over. So I'm going to go ahead and click my export button, and when it's all done, it should show me in Finder all of my new freshly baked edited photos. So if I click export, I've got a progress bar at the top. It shows me a new folder. It automatically popped up. And here are my terrible, ugly photos. They have the right name still. They have the edits that I told them to use, even though they were terrible. And these are still in number order the same way I had them before. So this is a really great way to get from start to finish from your photography shooting and having your photos on the SD card all the way through organizing them, exporting them with proper settings, all that stuff. And I hope it helped.